This is the CJ Williman Show.
Hello, it's your friend CJ, and in this week's episode, we expose the sudden and shocking establishment of Zionist colonies in Muslim countries, which have unsurprisingly caused a violent backlash. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show, and don't forget to turn your notifications on so you never miss a single episode. Now let's get into it. When most people think of the Zionist occupation, they think of Palestine and Syria, because this is where you find the permanent and controlling presence of Israeli occupation forces and criminal Jewish settlers. But with Israel on the brink of collapse and facing the real prospect of civil war, as forewarned by the country's military leaders, Israeli Jewish citizens are fleeing the Zionist state in record numbers, leaving the Zionist project in desperate search of new lands to occupy and colonize. And it's doing so in a way that has gone almost completely under the radar. You see, what is happening here is that Zionism has established a new form of soft colonial power, one that operates not with gunboats and treaties, but with visas, capital, and digital infrastructure. In other words, today's Zionist colonizers are armed with laptops, digital nomad visas, and cryptocurrency instead of guns. But make no mistake, the end result remains the same, because we are talking about a mode of jurisdictional trespass that turns sovereign land into a disposable platform and entire nations into historical footnotes. And here we are talking about Muslim-majority nations located far away from the Middle East, including the Southeast Asian country of Malaysia, which recently became the target of the Zionist technological colonial enterprise, or what is known as tech Zionism, a term used by former Coinbase CTO Balaji Srinivasan to describe a reverse diaspora in which online communities come together in physical space to establish new pro-Israel nations. In his book, titled The Network State, Srinivasan outlines a multi-stage process for creating a network state, starting from a single website, moving to building an internal economy, and eventually acquiring physical real estate. The ultimate goal is to reach a population, gross domestic product, and a physical footprint large enough to demand diplomatic recognition from pre-existing sovereign nations. But in reality, his so-called network state resembles historical settler colonial projects because it envisions digitally organized communities purchasing or controlling physical land in foreign countries, which is exactly what Srinivasan attempted to do when he established the network school in the Malaysian city of Johor in 2024, where he offered memberships to Israeli dual nationals starting at $1,500 per month, a fee that granted access to seafront views, mediation spaces, and workshops.
What happens when you invite 300 founders, trainers, and creators to a man-made island near Singapore?
Why say near Singapore when it's located in Forest City, Malaysia, a country that bans Israelis? But first, why are digital nomads joining?
I am currently on an artificial island inside a futuristic community that is trying to restructure the way our society functions. This is Network School.
Srinivasan describes the network school as crowdfunding territory that will eventually gain diplomatic recognition from pre-existing states. His blueprint is supported by a consortium of Zionist tech billionaires, including Peter Thiel, whose company Palantir provided technological support to the Israeli military during the Gaza genocide.
If people don't know, Project Lavender is an extremely notorious and controversial project that the Israeli military has ongoing. It's basically an AI-powered targeting system. What that means is that Palantir provides the software, reportedly, that allows the Israeli military to use AI to generate gigantic kill lists of Palestinians and to avoid what they call human bottlenecks in targeting. What that means is basically every Palestinian in Gaza has been assigned a number between 1 and 100, and it's based on how likely you are to be a target to the Israeli military. And your score goes up, for example, if you are in a WhatsApp group with a known Hamas member, or you live in the same building as a Hamas member, or, for example, you work as maybe an ambulance driver who goes to the scene of a lot of bombings and stuff. that will trigger your number to move up. And if it goes beyond a certain number, say 70, you are automatically put onto a kill list. That includes women and children as well. There was some studies that showed that Palantir had a 10% false positive rate on that. Apparently, the Israeli military really rely on this Project Lavender, and the human intervention in this is about 20 seconds just to check whether that person is indeed male, and that's all they do. And then they use AI to target these individuals with smart weapons and drone warfare, etc.
Thankfully, none of us escaped the attention of the Malaysian government, which accused the Zionist tech billionaires of excluding Malay nationals, while erasing and threatening local culture, customs and norms by marketing the network school as a quasi-state on Malaysian soil, constituting a new form of neo-colonial dispossession and apartheid, which is why the Malaysian Prime Minister has vowed to deport every Israeli national involved.
The Johor government has called for a federal probe into the network school in Forest City, following claims that Israeli nationals have participated in its programs using second country passports. Menteri Besar On Hafiz Ghazi said the state will not allow Johor to be used for activities that go against the law or the interests of the state and country.
Israel's ally, the United States, responded by summoning the Malaysian ambassador and falsely accusing the Malaysian government of hosting Hamas fighters and providing them with paragliding training. A laughable accusation, given Hamas clearly had little difficulty in flying custom-made paragliders on October 7. But this ridiculous accusation proves the Zionist tech colonial enterprise enjoys tacit support from the US government, prompting one commentator to rightly accuse the United States of deploying atrocity propaganda against Malaysia, in weaponizing trauma imagery to delegitimize a sovereign state's pro-Palestine stance and reframe a question of digital colonialism into a securitized anti-terror narrative. But Malaysia stood up to this pressure by vowing to dismantle this would-be Zionist colony, leaving the network state deterred but not defeated, as it seeks out new countries to infiltrate and exploit. Next stop, the Muslim-majority country of Kazakhstan, where the network school promises to serve as a hub for global technology talent, offering faster visa processing, relocation support, and talent recruitment.
Network School will establish a new campus in Kazakhstan a day after it was ordered to cease operations at Forest City in Johor. Its founder, Balaji Srinivasan, announced on X that the school had signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with Kazakhstan to develop a hub for global technology talent, offering visa support, relocation assistance, and recruitment opportunities. The MOU, signed with Kazakhstan's Ministry of Digital Development, Innovation and Aerospace Industry, will see the campus provide AI education, research opportunities, startup support, and international programs.
Poor or cash-strapped Muslim countries like Kazakhstan and others are vulnerable to the lure of rich and powerful corporations promising investment and expertise. But these deals never end well for the host nation, especially when the company becomes overly independent or begins to involve itself in the wider political domain. This is how failed and failing states become subservient to the commands and dictates of Zionist tech corporations or the State of Israel itself. I mean, even the United States is not immune to its corrupting and coercive influence, as ordinary Americans are harassed in their homes by police for posting criticism of Israel online.
Try that again.
We're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community.
So what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that. I get that.
We gotta make sure that you're not.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
No, that's why we're here.
Okay, you see that sign?
Yeah.
So that says no soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Stay off the lawn, please.
Tech Zionism not only threatens democracy and indigenous culture, but also local economies, given it promotes the use of digital currencies within these new entities, therefore allowing these quasi-states to avoid taxes and operate independently of national central banks.
Why does this idea of the network state appeal to powerful people, tech leaders in Silicon Valley?
Because it gets rid of democracy.
And it means they no longer have to answer to the majority of people, and that they can make the rules, and that they can amass as much wealth as possible without having to pay any of it back to the society that allowed them to create that wealth, to the systems and the infrastructure and the people who helped them to create that wealth. It's really an ideology of pure greed. And I would say it's an ideology of supremacy, of tech supremacy, of wealth supremacy, of white supremacy, of male supremacy, of straight supremacy, of all of the traditional supremacies that we have worked to eradicate or eliminate in modern liberal democracy. They think that's been a big mistake, and that feudalism and hierarchy are the natural order of things and a more efficient way to go into the future that they prefer and that they consider inevitable.
In Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim country and my permanent home for more than a decade, locals were given a glimpse of what tech Zionism will look and feel like if allowed to take root on Indonesian soil. When 2 Dutch Zionist citizens were arrested and deported last week after establishing a running club exclusively for foreigners, prompting Indonesians to relive the trauma of colonial-era racial segregation.
This viral run club in Bali has gone from social media sensation to the center of a national scandal because Indonesian authorities say Bali locals were being excluded, and now 2 Dutch organizers are banned from returning to Indonesia by its Director General for Immigration.
Last week, pro-Palestine activists in Indonesia targeted an Israeli-owned Saba restaurant by replacing standard toilet paper rolls to those adorning the Israeli flag, representing a beautiful form of non-violent resistance against Zionist colonizers. Which brings us to the United Arab Emirates, an Arab country that has devolved into a fully fledged Zionist colony, with a new report revealing the depth and scale of Israeli-Emirati military cooperation since the signing of the Abraham Accords 6 years ago. Last year, in this episode, we revealed a trove of leaked Emirati government documents which showed how the UAE provided sanctuary to more than 5,000 perpetrators of the Gaza genocide by facilitating regular R&R breaks in Dubai for Israeli soldiers, with the aim of freshening them up for another round of mass killing, therefore making the Emirati regime a direct partner in Israel's genocidal operations.
Israeli soldiers' most popular tourist destination. You're not going to believe it.
Spain, Portugal,
Dubai.
Dubai.
Oh. Yes, Dubai. The country that's, meant to be in solidarity with their Muslim and Arab brothers.
Dubai.
Seems to be actually one of the most accommodating to IDF soldiers. Dubai.
We've also documented the emergence of Zionist colonies in Thailand and Sri Lanka, where Israelis are accused of stealing jobs from locals, setting up Jews-only cafes and restaurants, trafficking drugs, and committing violent crimes.
Israeli tourists in Thailand are being slammed on TikTok for their behavior. Locals describe them as rude and difficult and are posting videos of their disruptions on social media.
Pai used to be this bohemian mountain town where people would come for tranquility and peace and the abundance of nature. Now the energy has completely shifted, and it has a lot to do with who's here. This town is completely overrun with Israelis. I'm talking 3-to-1 ratio with locals and other tourists included. And of course they bring their sense of entitlement with them everywhere they go. Literally everybody is sick of them, the locals and other tourists alike.
The respective Thai and Sri Lankan governments are now pushing back against the Zionist colonization of their lands, with deportations and travel bans now being enforced. Because no matter where you find a Jewish Israeli settler, be it Palestine, Syria, Malaysia or Thailand, you find them assaulting and dehumanizing anyone who isn't a fellow Zionist.
So what would you do to the Palestinians living here?
Here, like in the old city? Leave or place.
What would you do?
I think Islam is cancer, and you don't transfer cancer to another patient. That's not moral. You have to destroy cancer.
Sounds like you're saying one Jewish life is worth hundreds or thousands of Palestinian lives.
Not million. One Jewish life, it's 10 million, okay?
That just sounds racist.
Yes, I know. But this is the truth. Because God chose us. Because of this, you are jealous.
The world is well and truly fed up with Zionist arrogance and savagery, which explains why Israelis are not only being banned from a growing number of countries, but also why they have come under attack from anti-genocide activists around the globe, including Crete, Mongolia, the Philippines, and elsewhere. Obviously, we don't condone this kind of violence. We mention it only because it's illustrative of the world's growing hostility towards Israel's unchecked, violent criminality. And while we're on the subject of colonial violence, I want to draw your attention to my latest article for our Patreon members, in which I explain how Israel's fascist cousin in India, the ruling Hindu nationalist regime, is to blame for the anti-Muslim violence that's taking place in Nepal today, as prominent Indian television personalities call for the mass extermination of Nepalese Muslims.
नेपाल के प्रधानमंत्री से अपील करता हूं कि अपने अस्तित्व के लिए संघर्ष करें, हिंदुओं के अत्याचार रोक दीजिए, जिहादी उनका खात्मा करे, ऊपर से आपकी पुलिस भी उनके पीछे पड़ी है। नेपाल का सेकुलर हिंदू तो संघर्ष करने वाले नेपाली हिंदू भाई के साथ तो है ही नहीं है, वामपंथी नहीं है, व्यापारी नहीं है, तो कम से कम जो लड़ रहा है, नेपाल हिंदू राष्ट्र था, अब हिंदू विहीन राष्ट्र होने की दिशा में जा रहा है। अगर ऐसे नहीं होने देना है तो प्रधानमंत्री नेपाल, आपको बड़ी आशा के साथ वहां के लोगों ने चुना है, आपकी पुलिस उन पर अत्याचार करे, ये अच्छी बात नहीं है। मेरी अपील है आपसे कि आपकी पुलिस के द्वारा हिंदुओं पर हो रहे अत्याचारों को रोकिए और जिहादियों का खात्मा करने में उनका साथ दीजिए।
You can learn more about this by becoming a member of our show via Patreon. We really need all the help we can get, remembering that the Israeli lobby successfully pressured YouTube into demonetizing our channel nearly 1 year ago, which means we are entirely dependent on you for our survival. Therefore, we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront the Zionist lobby and other injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of our show at patreon.com/CJ Werleman. We can't produce, sustain and grow the show without your help, and we offer exclusive content and other benefits to those who do. So whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, wherever you are, stay blessed.